Lesson 10, Verbs, Part 3. Hi everyone, welcome back. This time we're going to talk about modal verbs and phrasal verbs. Remember, you can pause, go back, or repeat this video as many times as needed. Okay, let's start. Let's begin with modal verbs. These verbs are those that help to express possibility, ability, permission, obligation, advice, and even offers. When modal verbs are combined with a main verb, they further modify or emphasize the action. For this reason, modal verbs are also considered a type of auxiliary verb. The most common ones are can, may, could, might, must, should, and would. Can. We use the verb can to talk about ability or permission. For example, I can swim. In this case, can expresses my ability to swim. You can borrow my book. In this other case, the verb can is expressing that I am giving my book to another person to borrow. May. We use the verb may to express possibility, but it can also be used when offering help or asking for permission. For example, it may rain tomorrow. May I help you? May I leave early today? Could. We use could as the past form of the verb can and also to talk about possibility or make polite requests. For example, when I was a child, I could run fast. It could snow tonight. Could you help me with this? Might. We use might to express a slight possibility that something will happen. For example, if I say, I might go to the party tonight, that means there is a small chance that I will go to the party. Must. We use must to talk about necessity, obligation, or strong certainty. For example, you must wear a seatbelt. We use the verb must instead of should because it is necessary to use seatbelt in case of an accident. She must be tired after such a long trip. In this other case, we use the verb must because there is a strongly certain that someone is tired after a long trip. Sometimes, Spanish speakers have trouble telling the difference between must and should. Here's another example to help you understand. You should study. Here, should means ought, but if we say, you must study, the verb must means that something is necessary, like a rule or obligation. Should. We use should to give advice or talk about what is the right thing to do. For example, you should eat more vegetables. Here, the verb should is used as a form of advice. People should respect others. In this other case, the verb should is used as a duty. Would. We use would to make offers and requests in a polite manner, to express an opinion in a polite manner, and to refer to things that were said in the past that would happen in the future. For example, would you like something to drink? I would like a cup of coffee, please. In this case, I would think it is better to ask our boss before acting. She said she would call me tomorrow. Thus, modal verbs such as can, may, could, might, must, should, and would help us express different nuances of meaning in English, from possibility and permission to advice and imagination. Practice using them in your daily conversations, and you'll sound much more natural in English. Now, let's talk about phrasal verbs. These are verbs made up of a main verb plus a particle, usually a preposition or an adverb. Together, they give a different meaning to the action. For example, John broke up with his girlfriend. Here, the phrasal verb is compound with the verb broke and the two particles, up and with. There are two types of phrasal verbs, transitive and intransitive. A transitive phrasal verb needs an object to complete its meaning, and it can be separable or inseparable from the object. Many transitive phrasal verbs are separable. That means the object goes between the verb and the particle. For example, she turns the TV on after breakfast. She turned on the TV after breakfast. Take a note. If the object is a pronoun, the phrasal verb always will be separable. For example, she picked it up. Here, the object is the pronoun it, and that's why this object is between the verb picked and the particle or preposition up. On the other hand, an intransitive phrasal verb does not take an object. The action is complete in itself. For example, the plane took off at 10 o'clock. Today, he woke up early. As you can see, there is no object in the two previous sentences, so we have used intransitive phrasal verbs. There are many phrasal verbs, about 200 of them, and it wouldn't make sense to mention them all in one lesson, but they're easy to find because there's one particle or two particles right after the verb. Here are some examples of sentences using different phrasal verbs. I put on my jacket. It's freezing out there. Take your shoes off, please. He finally got over his cold. I ran into an old friend yesterday. The dog went away. She grew up in Canada. Phrasal verbs are very common in everyday English, so understanding them is really important. Next time you hear a phrasal verb, ask yourself, does it need an object or not? That will help you understand whether it's transitive or intransitive, separable or inseparable. Keep practicing with examples, and soon phrasal verbs will feel natural in your English conversations. Okay, that's all for today. See you next time.